Okay. So today's session is going to be a reading session. In the past two sessions, we've done writing task two, which was essay writing. We've
Mhm.
covered two different essay topics. We've read the essays together. We've learned a lot of new vocabulary. We've also learned amazing sentences. A couple of tips and tricks were also given to you that, write these kind of sentences, use these connectors and words in your exam, then you'll definitely get a better band score. You've taken down the notes as well, and many of you have done almost all of the homework. So today we will proceed to the writing part of the IELTS, CELPIP, whatever, English exam. Now, for reading, I will share my screen. I have a reading on my screen over here. It's the first reading. We are not concerned with the question answers. We are not concerned with कितने correct हुए, कितने गलत हुए, कितने समझ में आए, MCQ नहीं समझ में आया, paragraph match the headings difficult था, वो सब कुछ नहीं. Our sole purpose today is I am going to read this passage because I like reading. Every time I'm reading, I'm learning something new. Every time you are reading a reading passage, you are also parallelly improving your writing and speaking. Because every time you read, you are reading new sentences, you are getting exposed to English, you are learning new vocabulary. कहीं ना कहीं आपका ग्रामर improve हो रहा है. तो 40 में से 40 या 40 में से 38 आना तो ठीक है. That will happen. But first, let us at least get used to reading the entire passage without feeling tired, frustrated, or bored. That's our only purpose, which is why I am not even going to read the questions with you right now. Okay? Let me share the screen, and I'll also then share the link with all of you so you can practice it later on as well. My
Ma'am,
screen should, yeah, bolo.
I had one question.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday we learned several vocabulary, right?
Hmm.
But like I wrote down also, but how to implement into day-to-day basis? Like it should be like I should not forget.
Okay. So, when I'm giving you new words every day, I'm also going to keep reinforcing those words. Just because we've learnt a new word yesterday doesn't mean we will not be repeating the same word again, maybe today, tomorrow. So I'll make sure that the repetition happens, whether it is through writing, whether it is through speaking, whether it is through reading. So वो vocab को आपके daily usage में subconsciously उतारना, that is something I'm very actively doing at all times without you even realizing it. And see, you have to accept that 100 में से you will not be able to absorb all 100%. 100 में से आपने 50% भी absorb करके replicate कर दिया, या 50% absorb करके 30% आप replicate कर पाए एग्जाम में, तो भी it is a world of difference between your previous score and the next score that you are about to achieve. So don't really yourself worry about how do I remember this at the correct time. I will be taking care of that. But that doesn't mean that you have to be a passive participant. From your own end, you can at least select the words जो आपको सबसे ज्यादा relevant लगे, जो आपको लगे कि ये commonly use हो सकते हैं, या you feel that नहीं ये याद रह जाएगा. I can remember the pronunciation, the spelling and the meaning. वो वर्ड्स को एक अलग लिस्ट में बना के रखो. Make it a habit, morning and evening, once in the morning, once in the evening, like you take medicines twice a day. Take a look at that list. ऐसे गोखना नहीं है बैठ बैठ के, but just take a look at
Just
it.
review it.
Yeah, just let your mind, let your eyes remember that word, right? All right.
Okay.
Let me very quickly share this link with you guys so you can also open it on your devices. Here, it's there on your WhatsApp now.
You will
Okay.
open here, right, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah, you can see my screen, right? It's visible, you can read clearly.
Yeah.
Okay. So, reading passage 1, you should spend about 20 minutes on questions 1 to 13. which are based on reading passage 1 below. We will read the whole thing together, ठीक है? This is a very interesting passage also. आप लोग को मजा आएगा. So, the heading of the passage, a fantasia, a life without mental images. Based only on the heading, can you try and guess what the passage is about? A fantasia. Confirm the pronunciation later on, but it seems like it's a fantasia, a life without mental images. What could it be about?
It could be about like we, whenever we think, the image comes into our mind.
And what happens if you have this condition called a fantasia?
Life without mental image.
So it probably means that you are not able to visualize or picturize anything in your head. Like even today, while you're sitting in Canada, if you close your eyes, both of you, let's do a nice little exercise. Three of you, Raj is also here. Like if you close your eyes and I'm telling you to imagine your house back in India, you're imagining your entrance of the house, the drawing room, the kitchen. It's evening. Probably somebody is in the kitchen, maybe preparing dinner for the day. Somebody might be sitting in the drawing room, maybe watching TV. Go back and remember your old bedroom, wherever you would sleep. Can you see where the bed is, where the study table is, where your wardrobe is? Try and remember all little details about your house, the color of the wall, where your electric switchboard is in your room, any decorative piece that you remember. Think about your sofa. When I talked about all of this, didn't you clearly see your house in your head?
Mm.
You
Yes.
were able to
Yes.
see the shape, the structure, the location, the colors. So we have the capacity to visualize mental images, not just something that you've seen. I might also imagine मुझे एक दिन नॉर्वे घूमने जाना है. I know what Norway kind of looks like, from the pictures I've seen online and all. I can close my eyes and I can see the beautiful scenery and everything else. So imagine having a fantasia where you don't have any mental images. You cannot see anything inside your head. A sort of a mental blindness, for a lack of better word. Getting the gist of it now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Before reading this passage, I did not even know that something like this exists in the first place. It's the first time I realized when I read this passage. Okay, let's start. Close your eyes and imagine walking along a sandy beach. Okay. Close your eyes and imagine walking along a sandy beach and then gazing over the horizon as the sun rises. How clear is the image that springs to mind? Most people can readily conjure images inside their head, known as the mind's eye. But this year, scientists have described a condition, a fantasia, in which some people are unable to visualize mental images. Neil Kenmure from Lancaster has always had a blind mind's eye. He knew he was different, even in childhood. My stepfather, when I couldn't sleep, told me to count sheep. ये एक तरीका होता है when you can't sleep, आपको नींद नहीं आ रही है तो ऐसे बोलते हैं close your eyes and count sheep. One, two, you can see one sheep going by, second sheep going by, and keep counting, one, two, three, four. Eventually you'll get bored or you'll fall asleep, right? So it's a very common tactic that they tell people to try when they have difficulty falling asleep. So my stepfather, when I couldn't sleep, told me to count sheep and he explained what he meant. I tried to do it and I couldn't, he says. I couldn't see any sheep jumping over fences. There was nothing to count. Our memories are often tied up in images. Think back to a wedding or first day at school. As a result, Neil admits some aspects of his memory are terrible, but he's very good at remembering facts. And like others with aphantasia, he struggles to recognize faces. Yet, he does not see aphantasia as a disability, but simply a different way of experiencing life.
Like,
This point really stuck with me. This sentence over here that I've highlighted. Like others with aphantasia, he struggled to recognize faces. Like, can you imagine if I am thinking about Digvijay? If I close my eyes, I can see what Digvijay looks like, right? I know this is Hariom and this is Digvijay. And even when you remember people, you can see their face. And people with aphantasia, they'll probably have a difficult time recognizing faces. I might meet you in a public place and I might not be sure मैं इसको जानती हूँ but I'm not sure who he is. It might happen, right? Okay.
yes.
So यहाँ तक का reading repeat करेंगे. Right from the heading till where we have read. Digvijay, you can start reading out loud.
Okay. Aphantasia, a life without mental images. Uh, Close your eyes and imagine walking along a sandy beach and then gazing over the horizon as the sun
Gazing.
rises.
Gazing. Gay.
Gazing.
Gazing मतलब देखना, घूरना, right? To look at something, gaze करना. That is gaze. And ये है horizon. Horizon એટલે કે क्षितिज કહેવાય ને क्षितिज. जब आप
Yes,
ऐसे
Mm-hmm.
yes.
समुंदर के ओर देखते हो, वो जो एंड तक आपको दिखता है जहां पे सनसेट या सनराइज, that is the horizon. So basically
Horizon.
imagine that you are walking on a lovely sandy beach. You are gazing, you are staring at the horizon. That's what they are saying. Okay, gazing.
So close your eyes and imagine walking along a sandy beach and then gazing over the horizon as the sun rises. How clear is the image that springs to mind?
Good.
Most people can readily conjure images inside their head,
कंज्यूर
known as
करना
their
मतलब क्रिएट कर लेना, बना लेना, टू क्रिएट. ये मत लिखो एग्जैक्टली exactly, आपको कहीं पे यूजेज नहीं आएगा. बट इट बेसिकली जस्ट मीन्स टू क्रिएट, राइट? कंज्यूर इमेजेस
okay.
इनसाइड देयर हेड.
Uh, Most people can readily conjure images inside their head, known as their mind's eye. But this year, scientists have described a condition, aphantasia, in which some people are unable to visualize mental images. Neil Kenmore from Lancaster has always had a blind mind's eye. He knew he was different even in childhood. My stepfather, when I could not sleep, told me to count sheep, and he explained what he meant. I tried to do it, and I could not. He says, I could not see any sheep jumping over fences. There was nothing to count. Our memories are often tied up in images. Think back, think back to a wedding or first day at school. As a result, Neil admits some aspects of his memory are terrible, but he is very good at remembering facts. And like others with aphantasia, he struggles to recognize faces. Yet, he does not see aphantasia as a disability, but simply a different way of experiencing life.
Okay. This word you will pronounce as recognize.
Recognize.
Recognize, right? Not recognize, but recognize. You can write down these ucharans in Gujarati in your notebooks if you want, because like हम कल भी मैंने कितनी बार वो बैच में like people would say community, computer, and I would remind them computer nahi,
Community.
computer, community. So
Computer.
it happens, you're used to a certain way of pronouncing, right? So it's good to write it down somewhere. We'll start reading.
Recognize, right?
Recognize.
R- recognize.
Recognize. I'll just get my glass of juice. It'll take me less than a minute. Right? Hang on.
Okay, मोटा.
Okay, ready when you are. Raj, are you having any problem with the connection?
Yes, ma'am. I'm having problem in like connecting like Wi-Fi. There is some
Okay,
problem.
don't worry.
So I changed
I'm,
my
yeah,
location.
okay.
Right
This
now
is
I'm sitting in different room. So right now it's good.
hopefully it works. No, so anyways, we are
Yeah.
recording it. The same thing will be repeated in the next session also. So don't worry if you've missed anything, right? And then if you have any questions, you can continue asking us here as well. Okay. So again, we'll move on to the next paragraph. And again, a reminder, we are reading for the sake of reading. We are not reading with an agenda. We are not reading to solve question answers. Okay? We'll get there when we get there. So, now, so we've understood what it means to visualize images in our head. We've all understood, when we think of our memories, when we think of people, we can see their faces. But what if, in this aspect, you were blind? You're not actually blind, you're not actually visually impaired, but that you cannot close your eyes and visualize anything. ठीक है? So, यहाँ पे लिखा है when your mind's eye is blind. It's very difficult for us to relate to this because we've not faced the situation, right? So let's understand through the passage. Ironically, Neil now works in a bookshop, although he largely sticks to the non-fiction aisles. AISLES. Aisle पता है ना आप लोग को? Like when you go on the flight also aisle side, window side. ठीक है. So, ironically, Neil now works in a bookshop, although he largely sticks to the non-fiction aisles. His condition begs the question, what is going on inside his pictureless mind? I asked him what happens when he tries to picture his fiancée. So, they asked him that if you close your eyes and you try to imagine your fiancée, you try to picture your fiancée in your head, what happens then? So, he says that this is the hardest thing to describe. What happens in my head when I think about things, he says. When I think about my fiance, there is no image, but I'm definitely thinking about her. I know today she has her hair up at the back. She is brunette. Brunette कौन होता है? Some people are blonde, some people have red hair. Brunette is somebody with
Probably brown.
correct brown hair, right? Okay, so he can't visualize her, but he knows that he's thinking about her. He remembers, that today she has her hair up at the back. She is brunette, but I am not describing an image I am looking at. I am remembering features about her. That's the strangest thing. And maybe that is a source of some regret.
Reg-
Regret is pashtao, right? Okay. The response from his mates matlab aapke friends, right? The response
Mhm.
from his mates is very sympathetic. You are weird. But while Neil is very relaxed about his inability to picture things, it is often a cause of distress for others. One person who took part in a study into aphantasia said he had started to feel isolated and alone after discovering that other people could see images in their heads. Being unable to reminiscence इसका मतलब होता है remember याद करना about his mother years after her death led him to being extremely distraught मतलब एकदम upset होना ठीक है that is to be distraught. Now this paragraph let's have Hariom read. We are reading from here.
Mind's eye blind. Ironically, Neil now works in a bookshop. Although he largely sticks to the non-fiction aisles, his condition begs the question what is going on inside his pictureless mind. I ask him what happens when he tries to picture his fiancée. This is the hardest thing to describe. What happens in my head when I think about things, he says. "W- When I think about my fiance, there is no image, but I'm definitely thinking about her. I know today she has her hair up at the back. She's brunette.
Brunette.
But
Hmm.
but I'm not describing an image I'm looking at. I'm remembering features about her. That's the strangest thing, and maybe that is a source of some regret.
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 Hmm.
The can you ma'am
Hmm.
scroll up?
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
sorry.
the 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 response from his mates is a very sympathetic. You are weird. But while Neil is very relaxed about his inability to picture things, it is often a cause of distress for others. One person who took part in a study into aphantasia said he had started to feel isolated and alone after discovering that other people could see images in their heads. Being unable to
Reminisce.
uh, remin, being
Hmm.
unable to reminisce about his
Reminisce.
being able to reminisce about his mother years after her death led to him being extremely distraught.
Right. So he's talking about his mother, right? And she's passed away now. But even then, when he closes his eyes, or when people close their eyes, they are able to see an image of their loved one, right? All your parents are in India right now, family members are in India. But when you close your eyes, can you see them? If you're thinking about them, imagine not being able to do that. So that feeling, it made him feel very isolated, made him feel very alone, made him extremely distraught, very upset, right? Now let's move on to the next paragraph and we'll have Raj read this one. Okay, the heading is the super visualizer. At the other end of the spectrum is children's book illustrator Lauren Beard, whose work on fairy tale hairdresser series will be familiar to many 6-year olds. Now, we are talking about somebody on the opposite end of the spectrum. So, on one side, we talked about people with no mental images, they could visualize nothing. But on the other side, we are going to talk about super visualizers who are able to visualize a lot inside their
Visualize.
heads, right? So the exact opposite. Okay. So we're talking about this children's book illustrator. and her work is fairy tale hairdresser series, which is very common between among 6 year olds. Okay, now her career relies on, कल हमने वर्ड किया था ना rely, RELY, किसी पे डिपेंड करना. So
Depend.
her career relies on the vivid images that leap into her mind's eye when she reads text from her author. When I
Author.
met, yeah, when I met her in her box room studio in Manchester, she was working on a dramatic scene in the next book. The text describes a baby perilously climbing onto a chandelier. Straight away, I can visualize this grand glass chandelier in some sort of French kind of ballroom, and the little baby just swinging off it, and really heavy, thick curtains. She says, I think I have a strong imagination, so I can create the world and then keep adding to it. So it gets sort of bigger and bigger in my mind, and the characters too, they sort of evolve. I couldn't really imagine what it's like to not imagine. I think it must be a bit of a shame, really. Okay, so imagine being a children's book illustrator. Like, I am the author of a book, right? I'm writing the story, I'm writing a book, and I need somebody to illustrate my book. बच्चों के बुक्स में स्टोरी के अलावा there are a lot of pictures, right? तो वो कोई ना कोई तो illustrate करता होगा. So they have to have a very strong imagination. देखो जैसे यहाँ पे लिखा ही हुआ है ये वाले पार्ट में कि उसने जो बुक में रीड किया टेक्स्ट, टेक्स्ट क्या डिस्क्राइब करता था? अ बेबी पेरिलियसली, पेरिलियसली मतलब वेरी डेंजरसली. लिख लो आपको लिखना हो तो. पेरिलियस इज रिस्की, रिस्की. सो पेरिलियसली वुड बी रिस्कीली. Okay, so perilous is risky or dangerous. ठीक है? So in the text, what was described, that there's a baby and the baby is perilously climbing onto a, you know what a chandelier is, right? वो बड़े से lights नहीं होते हैं रूम के बीच में. Those huge lights. Let me show you an image of a chandelier then. Can you see all of these?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is what a chandelier means. This over here. So imagine in the text there's a baby trying to climb on a chandelier. Okay, that's what it was about. And then she immediately could visualize it. So she was able to draw something like that. So this paragraph is for Raj to read from here to here. Okay.
The super visualizer. At the other end of the spectrum is children's book illustrator
Illus,
Lauren
illus,
Beard,
illustrator.
illustrator, whose work on the fairy tale hairdresser series will be familiar to many 6 years olds.
Familiar, familiar.
Familiar. Her career relies on the vivid images that leap into her mind's eye when she reads texts from her author. When I met her when I met her in her box room studio in Manchester, she was working on a dramatic scene in the next book. The text describes a baby perilously climbing onto the chandelier. Straight away, I can visualize this grand glass chandelier in some sort of French kind of ballroom, and the little baby just swinging off it, and really heavy, thick curtains. She says, I think I have a strong imagination, so I can create the world and the keep adding to it, so it gets sort of bigger and bigger in my mind, and the characters too, they sort of evolve. I couldn't really imagine what it's like to not imagine. I think it must be a bit of shame, really.
Okay. Now next one. ठीक है? Now, not many people have mental imagery as vibrant as Lauren or as blank as Neil. They are two extremes of visualization. One cannot visualize at all, one is able to visualize a lot. Okay, they are
Hmm.
two extremes of visualization. Adam Zeman, a professor of cognitive and behavioral neurology, wants to compare the lives and experiences of people with aphantasia, those who can't visualize at all, and its polar opposite, hyperphantasia, who are able to visualize too much. His team, based at the University of Exeter, coined the term aphantasia this year in a study in the journal Cortex. Professor Zeman tells the BBC people who have contacted us say they are really delighted that this has been recognized and has been given a name, because they have been trying to explain to people for years that there is this oddity, something odd that they find hard to convey to others. How we imagine is clearly very subjective. One person's vivid scene, विविड का मतलब होता है वेरी क्लियर, एकदम स्पष्ट, एन ए विविड कहवाए, VIVID आप लिख सकते हो, ठीक है, वेरी वेरी क्लियर. How we imagine is clearly very subjective. One person's vivid scene could be another's grainy picture. मतलब कोई चीज शायद आपको एकदम क्लियरली दिख रहा है अपने हेड में, वेरी विविडली दिख रहा है, और वो ही चीज मुझे शायद मेरे दिमाग में एकदम धुंधला सा दिखता हो, वेरी ग्रेनी, ठीक है. सो वन पर्सन's vivid scene could be another's grainy picture. But Professor Zeman is certain that aphantasia is real. People often report being able to dream in pictures, and there have been reported cases of people losing the ability to think in images after a brain injury. Clear till here? So I think we'll go back to Digvijay to read this one from here.
Not many people have mental imagery as vibrant as Lauren or as blank as Neil. They are the two extremes of visualization. Adam Zeman, a professor of cognitive and behavioral neurology, wants
Behavioral.
to compare behavioral neurology wants to compare the lives and experiences of people. It's a lives, right, ma'am, or
It's
lives?
lives.
Lives.
लाइफ का बहुवचन, lives.
Wants
आपको
to
पता है
compare the
ना कि हर
lives.
जगह खाली एस नहीं लगता है. जैसे थीफ, चोर, चोर का हो जाता है थीव्स,
Thieves.
THIEVES. सो
Hmm.
लाइफ बिकम्स लाइव्स. ओके.
So Adam Zeman, a professor of cognitive and behavioral neurology, wants to compare the lives and experiences of people with aphantasia and its polar opposite, hyperaphantasia.
हाइपर
Hy-
फैंटेसिया.
Hyperphantasia. His team, based at the University of Exeter,
हम्म.
coined the term aphantasia this year in a study in the journal Cortex.
Coined the term मतलब, what is the meaning of coined the term? ये
This year.
टर्म अफैंटेसिया, ये शब्द, ये वर्ड उन्होंने बनाया, क्रिएट किया. इसके पहले ये वर्ड नहीं था. तो अफैंटेशिया वर्ड कौने बनाव्यू, हु मेड दिस वर्ड? तो हिज टीम, बेस्ड एट द यूनिवर्सिटी, दे कॉइंड द टर्म अफैंटेशिया. उसको बोलते हैं कॉइन करना, टू मेक, टू क्रिएट. ओके, चलो
Hmm.
आगे.
Professor Zeman tells the BBC, people who have contacted us say they are really delighted that this has been recognized and has been
Recog
given a
cog
name.
again, recognize.
Recognized.
Hmm?
This has been recognized and has been given a name because they have been trying to explain to people for years that there is this oddity that they find hard to convey to others. How we imagine is clearly very subjective. One person's vivid scene could be another's grainy picture. But Professor Zeman is certain that aphantasia is real. People often report being able to dream in pictures, and there have been reported cases of people losing the ability to think in images after a brain injury.
Sorry, I had a call from a student's parent. All right, I think this is the last paragraph now. So, talking about Professor Zeman, he is adamant. Adamant का मतलब क्या होता है? किसी बात पे अड़ जाना कि नहीं ये तो है ही, मैं
Hmm.
मानता हूं कि दुनिया गोल है, आई एम एडमंट, राइट, टू बी श्योर, टू बी ऑलमोस्ट स्टबर्न, किसी चीज के बारे में जिद्दी होना, श्योर होना, अड़ जाना, ठीक है. सो प्रोफेसर जीमन, ही इज एडमंट, एडमंट, ADAMANT. एडमंट इज नॉट रियली द सेम एज स्टबर्न. स्टबर्न तो पॉजिटिव भी हो सकता है, नेगेटिव भी हो सकता है. बच्चे कभी कभी बहुत स्टबर्न होते हैं, राइट. स्टबर्न का लिटरल मीनिंग होता है जिद्दी. जिद्दी इंसान को स्टबर्न पर्सन बोलते हैं. बट एडमेंट इज जस्ट टू बी स्टक टू समथिंग. So he is adamant that aphantasia is not a disorder, and says it may affect up to 1 in 50 people. But he adds, I think it makes quite an important difference to their experience of life, because many of us spend our lives with imagery hovering somewhere in the mind's eye, which we inspect from time to time. It is a variability of human experience. ठीक है. Now we'll take not more than 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. आपको पूरा पैसेज अपने मन में ऊपर ऊपर से बस एक बार झलक डालनी है. पूरा रीड नहीं करना है. यू डोंट हैव टू रीड एवरी लाइन, बट ऊपर ऊपर थी जस्ट फटाफट यू रीड थ्रू. चलो, ऑल ऑफ यू स्टार्ट. थोड़ा बबड़ के ही करना. हियर. आई विल स्क्रोल, वो स्पीड पे ही रीड करना. Okay, I suppose you all would have read through. We didn't need to read very thoroughly. Now, what we'll do, because this is our first reading session together, we'll not do it very independently. We will solve this together. ठीक है? अपने आप किसी को solve नहीं करना है. We'll all do it together. तो मुझे थोड़ा आपका thought process भी पता चलेगा कि आप लोग answers कैसे ढूंढते हो. What is the logic behind your answers? आपके आजू बाजू ज्यादा आवाज ना हो तो आप लोग आराम से अनम्यूट कर सकते हो सो वी कैन ऑल टॉक. वील स्टार्ट विथ ओके इसमें सारे में ट्रू लिखा हुआ है ठीक है. वील स्टार्ट विथ वन ऑफ आवर फेवरेट्स ट्रू फॉल्स एंड नॉट गिवन. एंड व्हाट वी विल अटेम्प्ट टू डू इज वी विल फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट टू गेस द आंसर बेस्ड ऑन मेमोरी एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स वी विल क्रॉस चेक बाय गोइंग बैक. ठीक है. पहला सेंटेंस ये है. A fantasia is a condition which describes people for whom it is hard to visualize mental images. You all can give me your guess. What should the answer be?
True.
Okay, Hariom.
True.
Raj, what do you think?
Yeah, it's true.
It should be true, is what I feel also. But there's a part of me that also feels क्योंकि इतना IELTS कर करके what if a fantasia is a condition which describes people for whom it is hard नहीं it is impossible to visualize mental images. Hard मतलब चलो मुश्किल है बट आपने आखिरकार कुछ भी करके शायद विजुअलाइज कर लिया बट अभी तक हमको तो ये समझ में आया कि वो कर ही नहीं सकते हैं. मे बी द वर्ड इज इम्पॉसिबल. But we'll stick with true and move ahead. Fine? Okay. Next one. Neil was unable to count sheep in his head. ये नील के बारे में ही था या किसी और के बारे में था? ऊपर जाना है एक बार.
Yes.
Yes.
Here. So Neil was unable. He was not able to count sheep in his head. What do you think the answer is?
True.
True.
Great. Next one. People with aphantasia struggle to remember personal traits. Traits का मतलब होता है लक्षणों, characteristics. ठीक है.
Mhm.
People with aphantasia struggle to remember personal traits and clothes of different people.
Not given.
Not given.
I'll say what you all tell me. What happened?
I
What do you
feel that
think,
it
huh?
it was not in text, maybe, right? So it was not given.
Okay, ठीक है. Um, ठीक है. We'll select this for now. कोई बात नहीं. Next one. Yeah, बोलो. I think Digvijay has another answer to this. एक और बार
No,
read
no.
करो. जे लोगों ने aphantasia होए, they find it difficult to remember personal traits and clothes of other people. Personal
False, I
traits
think.
उनको याद आ जाता है.
हाँ मतलब एमा
No,
बात
but
करी थी
like
ना कि
they did not
हेयर्स
mention
अनेबल.
clothes of different people, right?
Yes.
हम्म.
रखते हैं अभी
ओके.
के लिए not given. We'll get there. ठीक है. Now, Neil regrets that he cannot portray an image of his fiancée in his mind. We'll go up. नील को ये चीज का रिग्रेट होता है ठीक है कि वो अपने फियांसे को अपने माइंड में इमेजिन नहीं कर पाता है.
Burnett. What's brunette?
ब्रुनेट ब्रुनेट.
Yeah, it says a source of some regret.
ओवर हियर.
But I'm definitely true.
शुड आई गो विथ ट्रू that he
True,
feels
yes.
bad and a regret થાય છે that he is not able to imagine her in his head. Okay,
Yes.
let's go with true. It's already true. Inability to picture things in someone's head is often a cause of distress for a person. This
True.
inability to imagine things, it might be a source of pain or distress for a person.
distraught.
डिस्ट्रॉट अपसेट होना, डिस्ट्रेस तकलीफ महसूस होना, सेम मीनिंग। ओवरऑल लिखा ही है ना, नील के केस में भी लिखा है कि उसको रिग्रेट होता है दैट ही कांट इमेजिन
हम्म
हिज फियांसे इन हिज हेड। द अदर पर्सन, यू नो, ही इज नॉट एबल टू रिमेम्बर हिज मॉम, सो ही फील्स डिस्ट्रॉट। सो कुछ लोगों को इस चीज की वजह से डिस्ट्रेस महसूस होता है बाय नॉट बीइंग एबल टू पिक्चर थिंग्स, राइट? ओके, now read this sentence carefully. All people with aphantasia start to feel isolated or alone at some point of their lives.
Need to check with like all people.
Okay, you tell me where to scroll, where not to scroll. You all guide me. ये तो सुपर विजुअलाइजर है, तो यहां नहीं होगा, राइट?
हम्म
No. Ah, yeah, it is
Here,
here,
here, yeah.
isolated and I this often.
See, while
Not given.
नील इज वेरी रिलैक्स्ड, नील बहुत रिलैक्स्ड है, ठीक है, आई कांट इमेजिन थिंग्स, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है। while नील इज वेरी रिलैक्स्ड about his inability to picture things, it is often a cause of distress for others.
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 એટલે
Others.
ઘણાને આનાથી ફેર નથી પડતો અને ઘણાને આના લીધે બહુ જ तकलीफ થાય છે। तो यहाँ पे दो एग्जाम्पल दिया है कि नील इज वेरी रिलैक्स्ड अबाउट इट, कि कोई बात नहीं,
हम्म
नील इज वेरी रिलैक्स्ड अबाउट हिज inability to picture things, but another person, he felt very isolated and alone after he discovered। तो do you think यहाँ पे all people आएगा, that all people उनको isolated and alone feel होता ही है?
False.
No. False.
false.
Okay, Lauren's career depends on her imagination। We'll go up. Here, you'll find the answer somewhere here.
Her career relies on the vivid images that leap into her mind's eye.
Her career relies on the clear images, vivid images that leap into her mind's eye. And here's your sentence: Lauren's career depends on her imagination.
Hmm,
True.
true.
Okay.
True.
The author met Lauren when she was working on a comedy scene in her next book. Author मतलब हम ये जो पढ़ रहे, the author met Lauren when she was working on a comedy scene in her next book.
Not given.
You want to go up
Yes.
Yes.
where there is the mention of the author as well as
Oh,
Lauren, right?
When I met her in her book Box Room Studio in Manchester, she was working on a dramatic scene. Yes, I think.
In next book.
met her in
ऑथर
her box of
बेसिकली मीन्स हम लोग ये जो पैसेज पढ़ रहे हैं, आना ऑथરની વાત થાય છે, और ये ऑथर
Okay.
लॉरेंस से मिली थी
Yes.
जब वो अपने नेक्स्ट बुक के एक ड्रामेटिक सीन पे वर्क कर रही थी। तो यहाँ पे लिखा है ना,
Mhm.
ऑथर ने खुद ने लिखा है कि मैं उससे मिली उसके बॉक्स रूम स्टूडियो में while she was
Interesting.
working on a comedy scene।
It's a dramatic scene.
सो कौन सा इंफॉर्मेशन को ट्रू फॉल्स करोगे आप? ये तो चलो
Not
फैक्ट
given.
है कि ऑथर तो लॉरेन को मिली, ये पार्ट ट्रू है, ऑलरेडी ट्रू है, पर ये पार्ट ट्रू है कि फॉल्स है?
False.
तो आधा सेंटेंस ट्रू लग रहा है, आधा सेंटेंस फॉल्स है, तो क्या लिखोगे?
False.
लेट्स
False.
सी, ठीक है, देखेंगे। ओके, चलो, ये मैं थोड़ा सा आपके ऊपर छोड़ती हूँ सो दैट वी कैन ट्राई ऑन आवर ओन ऑल्सो। ऑफ कोर्स आई विल रीड only a small fraction of, इसमें है ना, आई वॉन्ट यू ऑल टू ओपन इन योर डिवाइस, क्योंकि आप अपने हिसाब से स्क्रॉल अप एंड डाउन कर पाओगे, राइट? नहीं तो फिर you'll get confused. Let me give you 10 minutes to solve these five fill in the blanks. Five.
Okay.
कोई डाउट हो तो पूछते जाना, ओके? कोई वर्ड समझ में ना आए, कोई सेंटेंस समझ में ना आए, तो यू कैन कीप आस्किंग मी, ओके? Has anyone been able to complete?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, great. Tell me when you are done, right? So we can continue. So अपना पहला sentence है, only a small fraction of people have imagination as dash as Lauren does. क्या है आंसर?
Vibrant.
Vibrant.
वर्ड लिमिट क्या
Vibrant.
है? नो मोर देन टू
No.
वर्ड्स.
Two
ठीक है,
words.
वाइब्रेंट. पता नहीं मेंटली मुझे विविड याद आया, बट एक बार देख लेती हूँ, आई माइट बी रॉन्ग. ये रहा, इट्स वाइब्रेंट. Not many people have mental imagery as vibrant as Lauren या as blank as Neil. So not many people के जगह पे यहाँ लिखा है only a small fraction of people, right? Okay.
Hmm.
Hyperphantasia is dash to a fantasia.
Polar opposite.
I think
Polar
वही है.
opposite.
If I recollect,
Polar
वही
opposite.
है. Where was the exact word?
Um,
Yeah, the last
Yeah,
paragraph.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. हाँ.
yeah.
A
yes.
fantasia and its polar opposite, hyperphantasia. Very good, nice. Then we have, there are a lot of subjectivity in comparing people's imagination. Somebody's vivid scene could be another person's
Grainy picture.
Grainy
Grainy
picture.
picture.
grainy.
Picture.
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 Very good. Professor Zeman is dash that a
Certain.
fantasia.
Adamant.
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 Oh.
You remember where the word was, Digvijay?
Like I remember, but I
Yes.
forgot where is.
I'll show
The
it to you. Here.
last
Maybe it's in the
paragraph.
first paragraph. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
First
last one.
sentence.
He is adamant that aphantasia is not a disorder, right?
Disorder.
Disorder.
Okay. And then the last one, many people spend their lives with dash somewhere in the mind's eye.
Imagery.
Imagery hovering.
Imagery
Hmm.
hovering.
Hovering. Hovering का मतलब क्या होता है? Hovering ने गुजराती में શું કહેવાય? I'll tell you.
Hovering.
घूमना, आजू-बाजू घूमना.
चक्कर.
हाँ?
चक्कर हुआ.
चक्कर आना नहीं. अरे यार. अपने आजू-बाजू मंडराओ बेसिकली उसको हवरिंग बोलते हैं. ये देखो,
Lingering around.
आसपास आसपास भम्या करवू, लिंगरिंग अराउंड.
Hmm.
लिंगरिंग
Hmm.
अराउंड. ठीक है. ठीक है.
Lingering.
या, लिंगरिंग करेक्ट. नाउ लेट्स चेक द आंसर्स. करेक्ट कर लो अपने ही नोटबुक्स में. आपने कहीं लिखा है या क्या किया है? यहाँ
नहीं,
तो
वो
Yeah.
ओके.
ट्रू फॉल्स तो वहां पे ही
हम्म.
थे, आप आपके स्क्रीन पे ही।
ओके, लेट्स सी. वेट. फॉल्स, ट्रू, नॉट गिवन, ट्रू. ठीक है. पहला वाला क्या आया?
False.
मैंने
False.
बोला था ना कि इट्स पॉसिबल दैट अफेंटेशिया इज अ कंडीशन જેમાં લોકોને વિઝ્યુઅલાઇઝ કરવું હાર્ડ નહીં. इट इज इन फैक्ट इम्पॉसिबल. वो लोग विजुअलाइज कर ही नहीं सकते हैं. इसलिए मुझे लगा था फॉल्स. सच मतलब कितना इजीली ये मिस्टेक हो सकता है किसी से भी, राइट? दैट्स व्हाई यू हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी थरो व्हाइल डूइंग योर रीडिंग. ये वाला तो करेक्ट है, दैट यू वर अनेबल टू काउंट sheep. ट्रू. So we had false, true, not given, and then true, true.
सही
False,
है।
true, not given, true, true, then
हम्म,
false, true,
Yes.
false. Let's check. Sixth one is incorrect. Sixth one not given दिया है. Let's see.
All people with
Ah,
deficiencies
False.
start to feel isolated or alone at at some point of their lives.
they've not directly written na, that all people will not feel isolated also.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It is for particular person, right?
Yes, that was these two particular people, right? But we don't know if all people at some point of their lives, whether they are going to feel isolated or not, we don't know for certain.
It was
Hmm.
just an example, right? It was
It was
about
an
only one
example.
person.
Correct. I think all of the blanks should be correct. Vibrant, polar opposite, grainy picture, adamant, imagery, hovering. You got
Hovering.
all the blanks correct. Okay. Now your homework is going to be very simple today. You all will complete reading passage 2. But how will we do it? It's going to be a little different. आपको खाली मुझे question answers नहीं भेजने हैं. I'm going to write down the homework over here. ठीक है? What it is going to be. Reading homework. Reading passage 2. This is something we'll do almost every single day, guys. Read aloud and record and send recording plus send, solve and send passage 2 questions. अभी passage 3 बिल्कुल नहीं करना है. You are not required to do it at all. Clear?
Yes.
So, a couple of you, if the previous homework is pending, I will very strongly advise that you complete the previous homework first. Do not jump directly to this one, because what happens is that once we keep missing things, it will only keep piling up, right? And once it keeps piling up, then you'll find it very difficult to catch up because of your regular work and everything else. So, first take your time, complete the previous homework. Today's homework by design, I'm giving you very little. I'm not giving you a lot. Of course, we will move into more detailed practice, but for now, this much will suffice. You read the entire paragraph loudly, but please make sure that before you start recording, एक दो बार खुद रीड करके प्रैक्टिस कर लेना. If there are any words that you are not sure about the pronunciation, Google कर लो, देख लो. But when you are finally reading, that should be flawless. That should be as good as possible. I was going through a lot of your recordings, so it's good. Everything is good. You're trying hard. But some of your recordings, it felt like आप record करते वक्त ही पहली बार read कर रहे हो. But what I'm trying to encourage is that before reading and recording, at least practice 2-3 times. That is directly helping you improve your vocab, your pronunciations. It's also going to impact your speaking exam. One task can have an impact on so many modules, right? So practice twice or thrice and then send a perfect recording. And when you solve the passage, you can simply click a picture and you can also check how many answers are correct, incorrect, and you can send me your score as well. Make sense? Any
Yes, ma'am.
doubts, any questions for today? You can ask me if
No,
you
ma'am.
have anything. Who's joining the next lecture today?
Me.
You'll be joining again.
Me too.
We, you too? Great. So we will be doing the same thing. Okay? That's a given because I have to repeat the same thing. But koi baat nahi. You'll be exposed to so much more English. You all can listen silently. The same reading might get a little boring, but us bahane you'll be revising the vocabulary also one more time. Right? And of course, we'll have discussions, we'll have conversations. So, there you'll be able to practice a little bit of speaking as well. But I'm very happy that those of you are able to. You're doing 2 lectures a day. I'm glad that you're taking that time out. And you'll see the difference in your results.
Thank you, ma'am.
ठीक है, see you all in a couple
Thank you,
of
ma'am.
hours. Rest well. हरिओम, feel better, है ना? Take care.
Yeah.
Homework या कुछ नहीं होता हो तो let me know. The weekend is coming up. We can cover up during that time.
Ma'am, I
Okay.
have a question like we will attend classes on weekend also, or like it will be day off?
Sundays will be off, and Saturdays you'll be giving the entire test.
Okay.
You will be
This
on
Saturday?
camera. You will be on camera with me. And I wanted to start right from this Saturday because ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होगा? Score थोड़ा कम आएगा. It's okay. We are here to learn. So we'll be doing it very properly on camera. You'll be sitting here. It'll be timed, and you'll give a test in front of me every Saturday. Fine. Timings, of
Fine.
course, I will discuss with you because that will be a 3 hour test, not 2 hours, right?
I
So
think, ma'am, me
Saturday,
and Rajbhai both will not be available, I think.
this Saturday.
Maybe we have a job. Yeah, this Saturday, Sunday. So, like,
Mm.
it is possible to like set up an exam
Next
on
week, Saturday.
Friday. if
So,
possible.
so in your case, I'll send the exam paper to you. आपके पास जब भी एक साथ 3 घंटे का टाइम है, आप खुद टाइमर लगा के बैठ जाओ, कोई बात नहीं. I'll email the test to you. Just drop your email IDs to me and you can let me know when you're available.
Okay.
तब मैं send कर दूंगी, है ना?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
चलो, see you all soon. Nice session. I had fun with you guys.
Thank you, ma'am.
चलो,
Okay.
bye bye, bye, take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.
See you.